How's it going, Kulu? How's it going, Billy? Gladly Gaming, how's it going? VQ, how's it going? Matty, Lucas, Malachi. Just spent a bill on the new FPL update. What do you mean? What's the new update? How's it going, everyone? United fan, welcome. Shay, welcome. Ben __ Carter. Will, how's it going? Can you move your head, please? Yep, happy to. I'm considering taking Mope over Ivan Toney, by the way. Or whichever striker Brighton buy. I'm still hoping that Brighton buy Tammy Abraham. How's it going, C Northy? Bissouma or Dallas? Dallas. Missing Euros already? Mate, me too. I have nothing to do. How are you doing? I'm pretty good. How are you doing? I mean QPR kits, not FP. Okay, you spent a bill on... Oh, it's a bill 100? Is that what you mean? I'm not sure. How much is a bill? Do you think Mane is starting? Yeah, he should do. But Salah's the better option. Abraham has said the only club he will leave Chelsea for is West Ham. Really? If I were him, I'd rather go Brighton than West Ham. At West Ham, I can see Antonio starting over him sometimes. Who do you think will win the league? Depends on the transfer window. I think if United buy Varane and a DM, they could challenge Liverpool and City. But if City buy Grealish and or Kane, they win it easily. But Liverpool are in the shout as well. I don't think Chelsea will win it. Millen, how's it going? Emran, thank you for the follow. Alright guys, the plan for this stream is first of all to talk about my team. Next, I want to look at your teams because we don't have a deadline, so I can take my time on every team, help you guys out. And I want us to look at stats together and think about that. Can we see the team? Yeah, there you go. So I'm streaming on YouTube as well. So if you want to see what I'm looking at on my screen, so for example, if we're looking at stats together or what transfers I'm making, you can have the YouTube stream open as well, just so you can see my laptop screen basically. Is Dallas a shout? He is, in my opinion, if you just want a 5.5 million midfielder, but I think as a 5.5 midfielder, Smith Rowe is much better than him. Because Dallas was good for a defender, but not for a midfielder. Why Sanchez? Brighton last season conceded the third lowest expected goals, meaning they were statistically the third best defense. And that's reflected by the fact that since Sanchez became their starting keeper, he kept the fourth most clean sheets in the league. Felix, what app is this? It's Premier League. Literally go to the App Store and search Premier League. I've never played FPL. You got any tips for a beginner? Lots of tips, a lot. I'm going to keep making videos on tips before the season starts. But basically, don't take hits unless you don't have 11 starters or you need that transfer for your captain. Don't have 15 starters in your team. Don't waste your money on your bench. It was only worth it last season when there was COVID. Make sure to have the best captain every week. That's also very important. I learned that from Let's Talk FPL on YouTube. Basically, let's say Tottenham have a really good game. Go for Kane over Son every time. Otherwise, you'll regret it. On my bench, I have Luke Shaw, Brandon Williams, Billy Gilmore, and Ben Foster cycling GK. Smith Rowe and Sofal or Harrison and Fofana. I'd probably say for the opening fixtures, if Arsenal don't buy a number 10, so if we don't buy Maddison, for example, I would definitely go for Smith Rowe and Sofal. How does the bench work? When can I sub on players? Yeah, so the rules, and I think I'll make a video on the rules, but basically your bench only comes on if one of your starting 11 doesn't play at all. So, for example, let's say Tariq Lamptey isn't back fit for game week 1 and he doesn't come on at all. He's not even in the squad or he's on the bench and Potter doesn't bring him on. Then Luke Shaw would automatically be subbed in for him. But you don't have what you had in Euro Fantasy where you can change your bench every week. FPL United, my bench is Ben Foster, Luke Shaw, Brandon Williams and Billy Gilmore. Why is Shaw on the bench? He won't actually be on the bench when the game week starts. Maybe I'll change that. But basically, because I'd rather have an attacker over a defender, so Rafinha over Shaw. And maybe, so I'm not sure I would start Shaw against Leeds over any of my current defenders, but I'll probably end up having him in. Your team reeks. Everyone says that to me, and then they're surprised when I'm ranked so high. Thoughts on... let me see who that is. Never heard of him. Let's have a look. Perraud. Is he someone that they just signed? Because I don't remember him ever playing for them. Let's see. Perraud. FBref. Is Pickford a good idea? I think I would wait to see how what's his name? How Benitez does, because last season their defense was poor for Everton. Even though like we saw them as like, oh, they're an Ancelotti team, they're solid and all that, they really weren't that good. But so what I would do, for example, is how much is Pickford? 5 mil, 5.5. Let's have a look. What I would do is I would have a cheap goalkeeper. Pickford, yeah, he's 5. So for example, I'd rather have a different 5 million goalkeeper and Digne, because he also gets attacking returns, whereas Pickford won't have a lot of save points like what Martinez had last year, right? He was so good because of all the save points, and you still get the clean sheet points from whichever team you're going to have a defender from. So for example, let's say Schmeichel. So Kasper Schmeichel, let's say you were choosing between Kasper Schmeichel and Digne, or Kasper Schmeichel and Fofana, or Digne and Pickford. Obviously, you should go for Schmeichel and Digne. So that's why I think that. Grealish and Lamptey, or Saka and Digne? Grealish and Lamptey, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Roman Perraud to Southampton, 11 goal contributions for a left back. Let's see. I'll look him up on FBref. Perraud. I've literally haven't done any research on him, so I couldn't tell you. Yeah, he had 0.15 expected goal involvement to penalty last season in Ligue 1, so I wouldn't rush to bring him in, because I also think Southampton weren't that good defensively last season. I'll show you. Wait, Fantasy Premier League Scout, Member Tools, Members Area. What website do you use for expected goals and goals conceded? I use fantasyfootballscout.co.uk. There's a link in my bio for how to reach it, basically. Stat Merchant? Maybe. I'm a stat and watch football merchant. It does help for fantasy. Think Bruno won't be as good with United playing 4-3-3. How do you know they're playing 4-3-3? Thoughts on Emil Smith-Rowe if he starts? Really good option. Like, by far the best 5.5 mil midfielder. The issue is, I hope Arsenal are going to sign another creative midfielder, which would mean that in some games Smith-Rowe won't start. But for 5.5 mil, he's worth it for sure. Do you have to pay? Yeah, you have to pay for Fantasy Football Scout, but if you want a free website to check XG and all that stuff, go to understat.com. Are you doing team reviews? Yeah, I'll do team reviews. Stick around. I'll get to as many as I can. Can we see the team? Yeah, there you go. DS or Sofal. For the opening games, definitely Sofal. Save 1 million, I think. How much is DS? 6 mil. Save the 1 mil, and you have better attacking returns. Kane, yes or no? I would say Kane, yes, if he goes to City. At Tottenham, I wouldn't start with him. The one case I think can be made. 1 second, let's see. I'll show you Southampton first. Expected. Yeah, Southampton had the 7th worst defence in the league, so I wouldn't go for Southampton defenders, especially not for 5 mil. Newcastle always beat West Ham. Get your West Ham players out. I don't know about that. What was your total in euros? I don't remember, but I ended up ranked 14k, I think. Thoughts on Digne? Really good option. If Luke Shaw isn't back from holiday, or you can't see his name, he's my first defender on the bench. If he's not back from holiday on time to start in the first game week, I'll go for Digne instead of him for sure. Why Rafinha? Bad fixtures. I think personally Rafinha is so good that even with bad fixtures, he's worth 6.5. I thought he was going to be 7.5 or 8 mil. At 6.5, he's so good. Why Brandon Williams is not going to play? He's 4 mil, and none of the 4 mil defenders are going to play. Apparently, Manquillo from Newcastle might, but I'm basically hoping that Brandon Williams gets a loan move, which would then mean that he'll start. Any free websites for data? Yeah, understat.com. They don't sponsor me. I'm affiliated with Fantasy Football Scout, so I'd rather use them and pay, but as someone, I just want you to do well, go to understat.com, it's completely free. Sofal or Cresswell? Cresswell is the better option, but if you have something really good to do with that 0.5 mil, then it's worth going to Sofal. But remember, the difference between one of the key differences between FPL and Euro Fantasy is bonus points, and Cresswell gets way more bonus points than Sofal. Havertz worth a shout? Yeah, but again, I'll show people on my YouTube stream. I'll show you Havertz's opening fixtures. In Havertz's opening 6 games, he plays Arsenal, Liverpool, Tottenham, and City. So personally, I would bring in Chelsea players in game week 7. I'm considering actually doing a wild card in game week 7 when a lot of teams' fixtures completely change. Rumble Rogers, I missed you too. Is Saw a good choice? Yes, again, for 6 mil, it's not a huge risk because of how cheap he is, right? My issue with Saw is, let me show you. In his 2019-20 Premier League season, I think he only had 8 goal contributions. So even though he did very well in the Championship, we don't know how well he'll do back in the Prem, especially considering we know that his first time around he didn't do that well. Yeah, he had 5 goals, 4 assists in 28 games, 22 starts. So it's not great. Who's your bench again? I've got Brandon Williams and Gilmore. Saul was good at the end of the season, though. Could be a shout. He could definitely be a shout. What I'll say, last thing about Saul. Apparently, when Deeney isn't on the pitch, Saul might take penalties. So if we find out that Saul will take penalties, he makes him a much better option. Chris Wood, a good choice? Not really. Burnley aren't attacking enough to go for their striker. Which team would you say has the best 6 opening fixtures? I'll show this to my YouTube stream. 1 second. Where is this? Yeah, season ticket on Fantasy Football Scout. You can all see this for free because I'm showing it on my stream. Let me show you sort by difficulty. It says that the best opening fixtures are Everton. They have Southampton, Leeds, Brighton, Burnley, Villa. Watford, Brighton, Liverpool, Villa, Brentford, Wolves, United, City. It keeps going down. But you don't want those bottom half teams. But, for example, it changes if you sort by attack. So for attack, go sort by difficulty, they say that City have the second best fixtures. So it really depends on how you're ranking them. Isn't it too early to make a team? No, because your general structure will be the same. For example, let's say that Kane goes to City. That would change my team, right? So here's what I would do if Kane goes to City. Wait. There you go. Look. So I don't change much. I get Jota, Greenwood for Bruno and Grealish, for example. Again, it's only an idea. I'm not definitely going to do this. and then I can afford Kane. Because let's face it, if Kane goes to City, we're all going to want to captain him when they play Norwich and when they play Southampton, right? What is the app? It's called Premier League. You can find it on the App Store. Sancho. I don't think I'd go for Sancho unless he's under 9 mil. Rafinha or Buendia. Someone in my comments made a good point that you could go for Buendia and then transfer him out for Rafinha. I'll show you again on my stream. You can see this. My stream is linked to my TikTok. So if you go to my TikTok, you can press like the link tree thing, and then you can see my YouTube. It's literally the same as my TikTok. It's FPL_Liam. So Rafinha plays United, then Everton, then Burnley, then Liverpool, right? So Everton and Burnley are good fixtures. His opening one against United isn't great. So what you could do is go for Buendia for the opening 3, because Buendia plays Watford, Newcastle, Brentford, which is a dream, right? But then he has Chelsea, Everton, United, Tottenham, when Rafinha has Newcastle, West Ham, Watford, Southampton, Wolves, Norwich. So a dream run of fixtures. So yeah, that's something you could do, but I'm not sure I'd want to basically book in a transfer on a 6.5 mil player. So I'm just going to have Rafinha in. I'll bite the bullet for the first game week. He does have a tough game, but there's 19 game weeks, right, when I can use my wildcard at any point. I want Rafinha in there for most of them. Antonio and Cresswell or DCL and Sofal? Tough. Probably DCL and Sofal, because you don't want to go too heavy on... If you can split it between between Everton and West Ham instead of going double West Ham, I probably would do that. Who's the best striker after Kane? Vardy. Based on their opening fixtures, probably DCL. But statistically, again, I'll show you this on my YouTube stream. I'm sharing my screen as long as the stream's still going. Let's have a look. Player stats. Expected. Yeah, based on XGI, Vardy would be the second best, I'd say. But Vardy, Antonio, Iheanacho, and Kane all had very similar numbers. But looking at opening fixtures, I think right now, because Kane's still at Tottenham, I think Antonio and Iheanacho have really good opening fixtures. Bamford doesn't really. Mopé does have really good opening fixtures as well, which is why I'm considering taking Mopé over Tony. Hazard, thank you. I'm very happy to hit 22k. 25k is the next mission. Quarter of a way to 100k. Iheanacho or Antonio. My one issue with Iheanacho is I'm not 100% certain he'll start beyond like game week 2, because if Daka comes in and does really well, that does threaten Iheanacho's place. Because the way I see it now, Leicester have Harvey Barnes, Maddison, Daka, Vardy, Iheanacho, so 5 attacking players on 3 or 4 attacking places, depending on if they play a 5-back or a 4-back. But that means that at least 1 or 2 won't start every week, and I don't want to completely be reliant on someone like Iheanacho playing 90 minutes every week. So that's my reasoning for not going Iheanacho yet. Liam, where should I send my team to you? Send it to my Instagram, so FPL_Liam. Send me a screenshot in my DMs and I'll take a look. Is Maddison good to have? Maddison is a really good player, but his stats for fantasy aren't great, so I would say no. Is Varane good for FPL? Let's not jump ahead, United fan. Let's not jump ahead. I would go for Shaw over him. Shaw or Trent? Obviously Trent, but if that 2 mil difference between Shaw and Trent could get you a really good player like Bruno or Salah, then you can consider going for Shaw instead. But Trent is so much better as an asset than Shaw. I think Trent was the highest performing FPL asset between game week 21 and game week 38. So Trent is unreal. Like, don't discount how good he is, especially now that Van Dijk will be back and they have Konate playing next to him. Rumble Roger, I like you too. Salah plus Wilson or Bruno plus DCL? I think Bruno plus DCL, but you want Salah too. Cavani, United fans, do you think Cavani will start every week? I personally don't. Even with Rashford out, you have Sancho, well, Bruno starting, right? So front three. Sancho, Martial, Greenwood, Cavani, Dan James, all competing for 3 attacking slots. So you can say, well, Dan James will be benched. But then of those 4, I think Martial's going to play sometimes. I think Cavani will start. Not every week, though. Do you have Kane? No, I don't. Not right now. But if Kane goes to City, then I'll get him in. Bench, Shaw, Brandon Williams, Billy Gilmore, Cycling GK, Ben Foster. Rashford is having an operation, yeah. But still, you still have 5 attackers on 3 attacking slots. Would you have Cavani? No, I wouldn't. Do you like Arsenal new kit? I actually do like the whole red and white thing. I just don't love the collar. I think the collar is a bit weird. It goes like that, like a bit like a doctor's uniform. It's a bit strange. Brandon Williams, why did he pick him? Just for a 4 mil defensive option. Thoughts on Spinazzola in defence? He hasn't signed for Arsenal yet, but when he does, I'll bring him in. Who do you support? Arsenal. Has FPL started? I mean, it started, but you can't get points yet, obviously. Why the dodgy bench? Because you don't need that good of a bench for FPL because the rules are different from Euro Fantasy. Where do you think you will finish? I'm aiming to finish in the top 10k. I kind of know I'm going to finish in the top 100k, and I'm likely to finish in the top 50k if I keep doing my research properly. Why are you not starting Shaw? I probably will start Shaw. I'm just not sure. Again, I don't mean this as a pun. I'm not sure who to start him over. Maybe Rafinha, but I don't know if I want to have to bench an attacker for a defender. Where do you think Arsenal will finish? Probably 7th, based on how all the teams look right now. 6th or 7th looks most likely. Will Lamptey be starting every game? If he's fit, yes, he'll start. He was so good. Is Trent a good option? Very good option, yeah. Bruno or De Bruyne? For the opening fixtures, the thing is you'll want to captain Bruno more than you'd want to captain De Bruyne. So I'd say Bruno. But overall, probably De Bruyne's going to outscore him the whole season. But remember, you can transfer them in and out for each other, depending on who you want to captain. Who should I take in goal? I've got 4.5 mil. Sanchez. Trent or Robbo? Trent. Trent always has the slightly better numbers, so I'd always go Trent over Robbo. Are you going to get Ben White? I might, but I don't want to back Arsenal, because then if we lose, I suffer twice. Let me have a look at Instagram teams. Oh wait, I think I have to do this on... Oof, how am I going to do this? 1 second. I think if I hide this... Yeah, 1 second. Now I can do it. I need to log into my Instagram on my computer first. Mendy, the goalkeeper, is he a good choice? No, because his opening 6 fixtures are very hard. So even though Chelsea are really good defensively, I wouldn't back them to keep more clean sheets than even Brighton in the opening 6 games. Are you going to change anything? I might. So I'll tell you what, I'm definitely going to go for Salah 100%, Trent 100%. The rest could change because, and Rafinha, I think. Rafinha is also going to be in there. The rest could change. For example, if a Liverpool attacker gets injured, I'm going to go for Jota over Grealish. If Brighton sign a striker, I'm probably going to go for that striker over Tony, so Tammy Abraham, for example. And I'm still considering Iheanacho over Watkins, so those could all change. I'm thinking Havertz. Again, Chelsea have really difficult opening fixtures. The site for free stats is called understat.com. Let me have a look at some teams on Instagram. Bra moment. I'm having a look at your team right now. He's got Sofal, Van Dijk, Fabianski, Sofal, Van Dijk, Cresswell, Salah, Bruno, Bissouma, Foden, Buendia, Watkins, Tony, Sanchez, Castan, Shaw, Davis. Again, if you want to see this team, like you want to actually see it, you can go to my YouTube stream, which is FPL_Liam, and you'll see the full team. What I will say is, first of all, don't triple up on the West Ham defense. Definitely don't do that. Change that up. Next, you don't need 2 goalkeepers as long as you have a good keeper as your one keeper, and then you can free money to invest in the rest of your team, because someone like Bissouma isn't someone you want to have starting because he doesn't really get attacking returns. People just have him in their team as a bench option. Next, Shaw and Castan, both good choices. Cresswell, Van Dijk. I would go for one of Cresswell or Sofal and get rid of Fabianski. The rest looks good. Is Digne a good pick? Definitely, yeah. If Shaw doesn't start the first game week, so if we find out that he's still on holiday or he's not going to start, if Ollie says that, then I'll go for Digne instead of him. Let's have a look at another team. Actually, here's what I'm going to say. If you want me to look at your team, okay? Oh, wait, you can't see my YouTube. Oh, sorry, 1 second. Let me turn that on. My bad, I forgot about that. If you want me to look at your team, go to my YouTube stream. Actually, wait. I need to find it first. 1 second. Which Everton player should I put in? Digne is my favorite one. Second favorite, DCL. Both are really good. Why did you take... I didn't. He's on my bench. I'm not sure why he's on my bench, but he is. What's the one you have to pay for? It's linked on my TikTok. It's Fantasy Football Scout. They have a ton of really useful tools, like ranking all the fixtures by all the teams by fixture difficulty, telling you all the historic data on FPL. A ton of really good resources on there. And if you use my link, I get a small commission, basically. Don't get carried away with last season's top FPL players. Yeah, great advice. Look at people who had good numbers. So someone like Lamptey, he didn't play the whole season, so you won't find him if you just sort by total points. But if you look at expected goal involvement in the games that he played, he'd definitely go into your team. Just send my team on Instagram. If you want me to see your team, DM me a screenshot of your team on Instagram, and then go to my YouTube chat and type your @ in the chat, and then say I subscribed. So I'll only look at your team if you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thoughts on 5 at the back premium defenders, given the lack of good 4.5 options. I still don't think 5 at the back is a good idea because you're taking too much money out of your attack for when you want to focus on, let's say, a team like Liverpool now, they have really good opening fixtures. Or when Chelsea have really good numbers and let's say Werner and Havertz start smashing it, you'll be limited in how much you can invest in your attack on players that you want. The other issue is, if you actually look at per 90 numbers, defenders who are like 4.5 or 5 don't do that much worse than defenders who are 6, whereas an attacker for 6.5 or 7.5 will do so much better than a 4.5 million attacker. Is Antonio, Kane, and Nacho too much? No. What was your overall for Euro Fantasy? 14k? I think 14.9. Basically, I'll show you this later, but basically, I said I'm going to wait until right before the kickoff to do my transfers, and I forgot to do that. I was absolutely bricking it because I knew England would lose. I couldn't focus on anything, and I didn't actually do my transfers, but my cousin copies all my moves, and so I screenshotted his team to see how well he did, and how many points he got. I added that to my points from the week before, and that would be 14.9k. Football highlights, very impressive. 3k is unreal. Move your head for 5 seconds. Here you go. Do you think Ward-Prowse is a good asset? No, not really. You can't rely on someone who takes penalties and free kicks to get you points, basically. That's my issue. Okay, Sammy Kane. Let's have a look at your team. So Sammy Kane subscribed on my YouTube and he DM'd me a screenshot of his team. He's got Sanchez, Trent, Sofal, Lamptey, Digne, Bruno, Salah. He triple captained Salah, Grealish, Rafinha, Watkins, Antonio, Foster, Hover, Allen, and Mope. I love this team. Really, really good. It's basically my team, I think, with Digne instead of Shaw and Mope instead of Tony. So yeah, it's really good. I'm considering doing both things, to be honest. I wouldn't change anything. The one thing I will say to all of you, don't triple captain this week. Wait for a double game week. Like last season, for example, Kane had a double game week where he played Burnley and I think Southampton. So wouldn't you rather captain someone when he's playing 2 teams rather than Salah who's playing 1 team, even if it's Norwich? What if Salah later in the season has a double game week against Norwich and Watford? You'll want to have saved that triple captain. Subs, please. There you go. What's your YouTube? It's FPL_Liam. It's also linked in my TikTok. Oh, sorry. It doesn't help if I move. I keep forgetting. I've got Shaw, Brandon Williams, Billy Gilmore. He hasn't triple captained Hampton. I'm not sure what Hampton means, but he did triple captain. If you go to my YouTube stream where I'm sharing my screen, you'll see that the person whose team I'm looking at literally has the triple captain active. So I'm not a Hampton, whatever that means. Lim is the fantasy football scout. I think it's a website, not an app. Have you got the cycling GK? I do. That's the Watford kit, the Watford goalkeeper kit. Hi Eddie, how's it going? Are Bruno and Salah essential in every team? I'd say Salah is 100% essential. Bruno, you could make the case for either De Bruyne or Kane over him. But for me, I'm going to definitely take him. Is downgrading DCL to switch from Harrison to Rafinha worth it? I would say, yeah, I think it's worth it. If you go, for example, for Antonio and Rafinha over Harrison and DCL, that's definitely worth it for me. Hi Josh, how's it going? I went live around half an hour ago, I think. I'm not too sure. Camden Todd, let's have a look at your team. I think, wait, Camden Todd, I remember you from a while ago. Let's have a look. Camden Todd. Camden, did you DM my new Instagram or my old Instagram? I think you DM'd my old Instagram. DM me a screenshot to my new Instagram, FPL_Liam. Jude.chaco. Let's have a look. Make sure to DM FPL_Liam on Instagram, not my old Instagram, which is my private one. I bought the FPL_Liam Instagram account and the @FPL_Liam on Twitter so that you guys can always find me. Do you live and breathe FPL? Not really. I haven't really thought about FPL too much this week. But I like it, yeah. James Green, how's it going? Kai Taylor, if I find your team I can, but I can't find your team. Jack P. White. Again, if you want me to look at your team, DM my... Okay, Camden Todd, I found your message. And the other one was Jack P. White. No, I can't find that. Okay, Camden Todd has got... Leno, Trent, Digne, Shaw, Chilwell, Salah, Buendia, Mount, Tony, Watkins, Calvert-Lewin, Sanchez, Dallas, Rafinha, Wan-Bissaka. I like this team. I will say you don't need that many good bench options. So you could save money by downgrading Wan-Bissaka to a 4.5 million defender. Save money by downgrading Dallas to a 4.5 million midfielder. And then downgrade either Sanchez or Leno to a 4 million goalkeeper. And then I don't recommend having Mount in the opening 6 game weeks because he has tough fixtures. And he's not that great of a FPL asset, even though he's really good, because he tends to be the one that creates the assist. He doesn't tend to be the assister because of the role he plays for Chelsea. And then everything else looks really good to me. But if you do the things that I told you to do, it might let you upgrade Mount to Bruno, which would be good. Who's your bench? Shaw, Brandon Williams, and Billy Gilmore. Cheap midfielders with high attacking returns. My favorite cheap midfielders right now would be Rafinha, Jack Harrison, Ismail Assar, Emil Smith-Rowe, Bukayo Saka, Buendia. Foden, yes or no? I would say no for now because he's not nailed on. But if we see that he's starting every week, similar to what De Bruyne tends to do for City, then you can take him. But other than that, I don't recommend any City attackers because of the Pep Roulette. Do you think Norwich will stay up? I didn't watch them in the Championship, so I honestly couldn't tell you. They've made some decent signings, so I think they could. Surely an Arsenal player should be there. You're an Arsenal fan. I'm an Arsenal fan, but I'm not an optimist. I'm a pessimist. So maybe that's why I don't have an Arsenal player. Once the game transfers Ben White to Arsenal, then I might consider putting him in because Arsenal have really good opening fixtures. And the one thing you can say to Arteta's credit is that he improved our defense a lot. So defensively, Arsenal haven't been terrible. Ben White isn't a good player to see Arsenal's fixtures. It's holding. Put him in there for now. So I think Arsenal would be a much better team to focus on after game week 3 because we play Brentford, Chelsea, then City. So you're not going to keep a clean sheet against Chelsea and City pretty much. Against Brentford, I really hope we do, but it's Arsenal, so you never know. But then after that, we play Norwich, Burnley, Tottenham, Brighton, Palace, Villa, Leicester, Watford. So other than Tottenham and Leicester, we don't really have any tough games. So that could be a good time to bring in Ben White for either Lamptey, who's 4.5, or even Sofal to free up money. Do more teams? Yeah, let me look at some more teams on my Instagram. Henrik. Okay. Let's look for Henrik. Henrik Trejo. He's got Sanchez, Cresswell, Trent, Lamptey, Shaw, Saka, Salah, Grealish, Watkins, Calvert-Lewin, Tony, Ben Foster, Digne, Rafinha. And he's still got 3 million over in budget. What should he do? I would go Jack Grealish to Bruno, which I think you can afford if you free up 1 more million, I think. So you'd have to go maybe Cresswell to Sofal and Saka to Smith Rowe, something like that. And then you can afford Bruno. That's what I would do. So Grealish to Bruno, and if you need to free up money, you can either do Cresswell to Sofal or Saka to Emil Smith Rowe. What app is it? Premier League. Fofana or Lamptey? Lamptey for me. I think defensively they have similar clean sheet potential, but Lamptey is the far more attacking player, especially if Brighton stick to their 5 at the back system. He plays right wing back and he gets into the box a lot. So I would say Lamptey for sure. Let's see who else is subscribed. Again, if you want me to look at your team, subscribe to my YouTube channel and type your @ in the chat and say and send me your team on Instagram to FPL_Liam on Instagram. Let's look at some of the older people who sent. Let's see, Dylan.afc. Let's have a look. He's got Schmeichel, Stones, Shaw, Tierney, Salah, Mount, Bruno, Grealish, Cavani, Tony, Antonio, Ward, Alan, Reed, Tsimikas. Dylan, first of all, you need a bench option. You need someone who, let's say, you find out the day before Mount plays the day before the deadline that Mount is injured, and you have 2 injuries, for example. You don't want to take a -4. You want someone on your bench that you can sub on for him. Next, I would say Mount again is not a great fantasy option, so you can downgrade Mount to Rafinha and then use the money to upgrade Alan. Next, Cavani I don't love because I don't think he's nailed on. So for 8.5 mil, something like that, I think it's a waste to go for Cavani. Go for someone like DCL who's cheaper and is 100% nailed on with better fixtures. I'd probably go for him over Cavani, which will definitely free up money to go Alan to someone like Smith Rowe on your bench. Let's have a look at Jack PW08. Let's see if you sent it now. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I found your team. He's got Sanchez, Sofal, Trent, Fofana, Lamptey, Salah, Smith Rowe, Bruno, Tony, Antonio, Watkins, Shaw, and he's got Edison and Rafinha on the bench as well. Let's see. I would use the money that you're wasting basically on Edison, who you're benching, right? I don't think you should spend 6 million on a keeper you're going to bench. So I would downgrade Edison to a 4 million goalkeeper, frees up 2 mil, and then you can upgrade someone like Smith Rowe to, let's say, Jota or Greenwood, and that would be much better use of your funds. Everything else looks perfect to me. You could also use that money to upgrade Tony to DCL or Iheanacho, who would also be better. Can we see the team yet? There you go. Kane or Bruno? In my opinion, if you look at Tottenham's opening fixtures, again, I'll show you. In their opening game, they played City, then Wolves away, who are quite good defensively. Watford and Palace are 2 good games, but then he's got Chelsea and Arsenal. So if Kane stays at Tottenham, I wouldn't go for him in my opening team. But if he goes to City, then he becomes a viable option. How is Smith Rowe a bad shout? I never said Smith Rowe is a great shout for 5.5. I'm just saying, if you can, for example, go for you're spending 6 mil on Chilwell, you can get Souček in instead of him, and then upgrade Smith Rowe to Rafinha. I can bet right now that over the season, Rafinha is going to outscore Smith Rowe. Even though for 5.5 mil, Smith Rowe is by far the best option, right? But I could bet now that Rafinha is going to outscore him. So if you can free up that 1 mil and upgrade him, I think it's worth it. My issue with Smith Rowe is, first of all, he tends to be the player who progresses the ball more than the player who gets the final pass, which I'm sure would be reflected by his stats. Give me a second. Midfielders. Expected. He's got 0.26 expected goal involvement per 90, which is something similar to what like a defender like Luke Shaw would have, right? So it's not brilliant for a midfielder. Compare that to someone like Rafinha last season. Rafinha had 0.46, so about double what Smith Rowe had. So I think you can understand why I prefer Rafinha. The other issue with Smith Rowe is he's not fully nailed in my opinion. So if I knew that Smith Rowe was starting every week, then I definitely consider him more heavily. But I'm still not ruling out bringing in Smith Rowe. I could still do it. Can you do transfers every week? Yeah, you get one free transfer per week. What's the best team possible? I think my team, but I could be wrong. And I'd start Shaw. Shaw's on my bench. I'd put him as a starter. Who's your forwards? Antonio, Watkins, Tony. No Calvert-Lewin. I'm still thinking of a clever way to fit Calvert-Lewin in because I think I might miss out on not having him, especially if he has a good start to the season. The one thing is, Rafa Benitez is known as quite a defensive manager, so he could, maybe Calvert-Lewin won't do as well. Who knows? I golfer, no one cares that it's coming Rome. It's got nothing to do with FPL. Do you have any spare money? No, I don't. Thoughts on Conte? Really good player, but terrible fantasy option. He almost never gets an attacking return, and midfielders don't get rewarded for winning the ball back and things like that. Buendia, good option? Yeah, for 6.5, he's a good option for sure. The risk with Buendia is similar to Saw in that when both of them were in the Prem, they didn't do that well for fantasy. So let's look at Buendia. Buendia had 8 attacking returns in 36 games, which is quite poor, let's be honest. In 1920, which is quite similar to Saw, right? Saw had 9 attacking returns. So form in the championship doesn't directly translate to form in the Prem, especially I think for creative players who need time on the ball. But someone like Tony with 31 goals could be a safer bet. Let's have a look at some more teams on Instagram. Norwich were awful and Villa have great first 3 games. Yeah, so I am considering going for Buendia over Rafinha for the first 3 games. But honestly, after game week 1, I think Rafinha has the better fixtures going forward like 10 games. So I might even bench Rafinha, start Shaw for game week 1, in which case I'm not missing out by not having Buendia. I have the better Aston Villa midfielder. No Bamford. No, I think his opening fixtures are not worth it for 8 million. I'd rather go for Calvert-Lewin for 8 mil. Why have most people got Sanchez and Steele when you can have 2 different starting keepers? They're doing it to save money because basically now this doesn't apply anymore because Brighton bought a different second keeper. But 2 days ago this would be true that if you have Sanchez and Steele, you'll always have Brighton's starting keeper, which saves you money for going for, let's say, Sanchez and Emi Martinez. You're wasting another 1.5 mil, even though you're just going to get the 4 clean sheet points, right? It's not like having another keeper on the bench gets you more points. Buendia or Saka? I think Buendia personally. Is Sanchez not nailed on? He is nailed on, yeah. But like, let's say Sanchez has an injury after the deadline that you didn't know about. That way you guarantee that you have a keeper. What if Grealish moves club? If Grealish moves to City, I wouldn't keep him in my team, I think, because you don't know if he's going to start. It takes Pep time to mold the player to be exactly like he likes. But honestly, I don't think he's going to go to City. Let's have a look at some more teams. Alfie, me H. I don't see your message, Alfie. Make sure you sent it to my new Instagram, to FPL_Liam. Let's look at Brennan. Oh, wait. Make sure to send all your DMs to my new Instagram. Oh, okay, whatever. Let's look at Big Woody 666. Let's have a look. He's got Sanchez, Lamptey, Shaw, Fofana, Cresswell, Salah, Bruno, Rafinha, Bissouma, Calvert-Lewin, Tony, Schmeichel, Williams, Grealish, Watkins. Okay, so I assume you're going to be starting Grealish over Bissouma. And then, and Watkins over who? Rafinha or Shaw? Yeah, no, this team is really good. What have you done differently from me that frees up that money for you? So I've got... Oh, he's not gone for Trent. Okay, makes sense. Yeah. No, I like your team a lot. Where are you from? Like, what's your accent? My accent is a combination... So I'm from London, right? But I go to uni in the US and I went to an American high school. So my accent is a combination of London, British and American accent. What's the app's name? Premier League. Let's look at some more teams. Scroll up a bit in the chat. See who keeps asking. Michael Flanagan. Let's see if I can find your team. Guys, make sure to send your teams to my new Instagram, to FPL_Liam. It's linked on my TikTok profile. Don't send it to my new one. Louis_.j. Let's have a look. Sanchez, Sofal, Kanate, Shaw, Target, Rafinha, Bruno, Salah, Saka, Kane, Watkins, Foster, Bissouma, Williams, Obafemi. So he's basically gone for Kane over Trent, right? So he's not gone for Trent, which I don't mind. Especially if he goes to City, I think it's worth doing that. But the big issue with your team, Louis, is that you're missing a bench player. So let's say you find out that like both Kane and Kanate are injured, right? The day before the deadline. What are you going to do? Who are you going to play? Bissouma and Brandon Williams? They're both going to get you 2 points or 0. So you need another bench option. Everything else looks perfect to me. If you want me to look at your team, go to my Instagram, which is FPL_Liam, and DM me a screenshot of it. Then go to my YouTube chat. Again, it's FPL_Liam on YouTube. And type your @ on Instagram, like your username, and say I subscribed. Let's look at some more teams. Marlon. Okay, Marlon Dolman subscribed. Legend. Let's have a look. He's got Sanchez, Sofal, Shaw, Trent, Rafinha, Bruno, Buendia, Salah, Watkins, Calvert-Lewin, Tony, Ben Foster, Fofana, Lamptey, Gilmore. Really good team. I'm trying to think. So he's gone for Buendia instead of my Grealish. We've got the same best three defenders in Sofal, Shaw, Trent. And then he's gone for Lamptey over Brandon Williams, or Fofana over Brandon Williams. But surely you have money left over, right? I think you do anyway. Marlon, do you have money left over? I think you do. With that leftover money, if you have leftover money, I would go for Cresswell over Sofal. And then you should have 1 mil left. I'd go for Digne over Fofana. Yeah, That's what I would do. What do you think about Van Dijk and Konate as fantasy options or as a pairing? As a pairing, I think I haven't seen enough of Konate, but purely physically speaking, they're both 6'4", fast, strong, intelligent defenders. I haven't seen enough of Konate on the ball to know. I think against Liverpool he made a couple of mistakes, but Liverpool pressed really high, so who knows? But basically, I think together they could do very well, and Liverpool might be the best defensive team next season. But Varane and Maguire will be very good together too, and as usual, City and Chelsea will be good as well. But as fantasy options, I'd rather go for at least one attacking defender from Liverpool. So, for example, Trent or Robertson. And if you want to double up, then you can go for Van Dijk or Konate. Move. There you go, going. Archie White. Let's have a look at your team. Archie has Schmeichel, Lamptey, Konate, Van Dijk, Grealish, Pepe, Salah, Havertz, Watkins, Tony, Cavani, Foster, Sarr, Target, Fofana. So right away, you have too many good players on your bench. First of all. Next, Cavani I'm not sure is nailed on, so I probably wouldn't go for him. I'd go, let's say, DCL over him. Pepe is a good differential. I'm not going to say anything against him, but his underlying data was not insanely good last season. He had 0.39 expected goal involvements per 90, but for only 7 mil, 7.5 mil, he could be worth it. Havertz is another good differential, but he has tough fixtures, and Konate and Van Dijk. Do you think, Liverpool fans, do you think Konate will definitely start every game? Let me know what you think. If you think he's starting every game, doubling up like that, I have nothing against it. I would try to get Trent in. Cresswell or Digne? Personally, I think Digne, because he has the better fixtures. Liam, what's your thoughts on not having Trent so I can afford Watkins, Antonio, and DCL? Basically, the way you have to think about it is that, let's say there's a 1.5 mil difference between DCL and either Tony or Mope, right? And then that means to free up that 1.5 mil, you go for Chilwell instead of Trent. Chilwell's going to keep, in the opening 6 or 7 games, he's going to keep at probably half the clean sheets that Trent does, and he's going to get less attacking returns, almost definitely, right? Next, how many goals more do you think Calvert-Lewin, for example, will get than Tony or Mope? I think the difference between their points will be smaller than the difference between someone like Chilwell and someone like Trent's points in the opening 6 or 7 games. I hope that makes sense. Can you make a team with Salah, De Bruyne, and Bruno? It would be tough. Malachi, if you say I'm waffling, maybe you didn't understand me well. Chat, did the rest understand what I'm trying to say? I'm saying you have to think about whether you think the difference between Trent and the cheaper defender you get is bigger or smaller than the difference between the premium striker, so someone like Calvert-Lewin would get, over a cheaper striker like Tony. Dallas could be a good player. As a defender, he was really good for fantasy. As a midfielder, not really. His attacking numbers, his underlying numbers, right, weren't that good last season. Why is it showing me? Okay, 1 second. They were good for a defender. He had something like 0.15 expected goal involvements per 90. But for a midfielder, that's quite poor. Yeah, 0.18. Someone like Smith Rowe is the same price, and he had better underlying numbers. My front three are Iheanacho, Calvert-Lewin and Antonio. Thoughts? Really good. Probably up there with the best front three you can have. I'm still considering going for Iheanacho over Watkins, but I haven't decided yet. Thoughts on Smith Rowe? For 5.5 mil, considering he's gotten the number 10 shirt, which I hope indicates he's going to start most games, makes him a really good option for 5.5 mil. But don't expect him to be a world beater and get a ton of attacking returns, because his underlying numbers haven't been that good. No DCL up front, not at the moment. If basically a Liverpool or United attacker gets injured before the season starts, which would mean that Greenwood or Jota is nailed on, I'd go for them over Grealish, one of them over Grealish, which would free up money to go Watkins to Calvert-Lewin, which I'm considering doing. Let's have a look at another team. Macaulay Deitch 04. Let's have a look. Wait. Macaulay, make sure you send your team to Fpl_Liam on Instagram, not my old Instagram. Okay, I'll have to look at someone else until you send it again. Blair. Same thing goes for you, Blair Ritchie. Make sure to send it to my new Instagram, Fpl_Liam. Adrian. Okay, Adrian Welton, I saw your message. I'll have a look. Adrian Welton has Sanchez, Konate, Trent, Justin, James, that's Justin and Reece James, not James Justin, Salah, Sarr, Rafinha, Barnes, Kane, Iheanacho, Guaita, Lamptey, Bissouma, Rodrigo. Wow, so you've got basically your whole team are starters for their teams, other than your whole team, but Bissouma's not a good fantasy option. I would say maybe downgrade Justin to Fofana if you want a Leicester defender, because apparently Justin won't be fit until November or December. So I would go for Fofana over him. Everything else looks really good to me. Maybe Rodrigo, reconsider him because he might not be starting for Leeds. But honestly, when he came back from injury, I thought he was really, really good. So he could start. Who knows? If there are any Leeds fans in the chat, let me know if you think that Rodrigo is going to be starting. If he's not starting, you can go for Mope instead of him. What's your bench? Shaw, Brandon Williams, Billy Gilmore, Cycling GK. Is your TikTok the same as your IG? Yes, my TikTok is now the same as my Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. They're all the same. That's what I've been doing in the past week, working on getting the Twitter and Instagram. Why is everyone doubling up on Brighton? Because Brighton have the best opening fixtures, defensively speaking. They play Burnley, Watford, Everton, Brentford. Leicester's a bit tougher, but even Leicester weren't that good at, when it comes to underlying numbers offensively. Palace, Arsenal, Norwich in their opening 8 games. So I'd expect them to keep between 4 and 6 clean sheets in their opening 8 games, which is extremely good. Which FPL is this? The official Premier League one, the one that almost everyone plays. John Joe Shelby. I'm sorry, mate. Let's have a look. Reese B10. Let's have a look. I hope this is the same guy. I hope I'm not looking at the wrong guy's team. Reese Lewis, I think. I hope that's you. I can't open your team. It's not opening. Sorry, mate. Okay, whatever. Next. Basically, if you guys want me to look at your team, keep spamming the Instagram chat so I can keep seeing your team. But John Joe Shelby on my YouTube chat, make sure to send it to my new Instagram, so FPL_Liam. Sam, if you want me to check your team, go to my YouTube channel, FPL_Liam, and then subscribe. After that, go to my Instagram, which is also FPL_Liam, and DM me a screenshot of your team. Get Kane in there. Kane will go straight in if he goes to City. If he stays at Tottenham, I'll wait until Tottenham have better fixtures before I bring him in. Jude.chaco, let's try seeing your message. Jude, did you send it? Make sure you sent your message to my new Instagram for FPL_Liam. Because a lot of you, I'm not looking at your team because I literally can't find it in my YouTube stream. In my Instagram chat, sorry. Which you can probably see in the YouTube stream. DCL or Watkins? DCL if you can afford him, for sure. How's it going, Jack, by the way? I always see you in my stream. John Joe Shelby. I haven't forgotten about you, John Joe Shelby. So if you send me your team, I'll definitely find it. I think McCauley died, so I was looking for your team earlier, wasn't I? Yes. Let's have a look now. McCauley has Sanchez, Fofana, Shaw, Trent, Rafinha, Bruno, Havertz, Grealish, Watkins, Tony, Iheanacho, Backman, Greenwood, Pinnock, and Dunk. Right away, you need Salah. You want to captain Salah against Norwich, trust me. Make sure to have the best captain every week. Everything else looks good, but basically what that means is you need to free up money somehow, which I think you have to do by downgrading Greenwood to 4.5 for a 4 million midfielder, 4.5 million midfielder, like Basuma, for example, or Gilmore, and then use that money to go Havertz to Salah. You have to. Triple captain Salah game week 1. Personally, I wouldn't, because you want to save your triple captain for a double game week. Blair Ritchie, let's have a look. Blair Ritchie has Sanchez, Trent, Lamptey, Fofana, Shaw, Salah, Grealish, Barnes, Bruno, Watkins, Iheanacho, Foster, Tony, Williams, Gilmore. This team is really good in my opinion, really, really good. I like Barnes as a differential because I don't think too many people are going to go for him. Fofana for 4.5 mil, I'm not opposed to at all. I think is a really good option. I think Lamptey is slightly better, but you have both, so you're doing well. Watkins, might go for Antonio over Watkins, but for the first 3 games, Watkins is probably going to outperform him. After that, you can think about Antonio. Yeah, no, this team's really good, Blair. Very, very strong. Jude.chaco. I remember you. Let's try finding your team. Oh, I just saw you. Jude. There we go. Jude has Schmeichel, Digne, Shaw, Trent, Sofal, Saka, Bruno, Salah, Rafinha, Tony, Antonio, Dubravka, Ogbonna, Basuma, Dini. First of all, you know what I'm going to say. Downgrade Dubravka to a 4 million goalkeeper to free up money. Schmeichel will do the job for you. For the first few weeks at least. Next, I like your defense a lot. I think it's perfect. Maybe I'd go for someone instead of Ogbonna. Maybe Lamptey instead of him. Saka and Rafinha I'm not opposed to. Saka's underlying numbers weren't great last season, which is why he didn't end up doing that well when a lot of people like me had him. 1 second, I'm not looking at... Oh yeah. Oh no, his numbers are quite good. 0.4 is not bad. Okay, I'm not opposed to Saka. Saka's a decent option. Tony and Antonio, really good strikers. Maybe... How much is Dini? I probably wouldn't go for Dini. I'd go for maybe Mope instead of him. I wouldn't go for Dini. Evan or EWAN Herd. I literally can't see your team. Oh no, there we go. I found it. There we go. Finally. Okay, he's got Sanchez, Digne, Fofana, Shaw, Buendia, Salah, Bruno, Grealish, Antonio, Calvert-Lewin, Watkins. And then on the bench, he's got Steele, Sofal, Lamptey, Gilmore. What did he say? He said probably will fit Trent in, just don't know how yet. Let's think about how you can fit Trent in. Right away, one thing that sticks out is you could get, instead of Grealish, you could get Rafinha. That would free up 1.5 mil, which means you're 0.5 off going Digne to Trent or Shaw to Trent, whichever you prefer. That 0.5 mil has to come from either Antonio, basically has to come from Calvert-Lewin to Calvert-Lewin to Iheanacho. So if you do Calvert-Lewin to Iheanacho and Digne to Trent and Grealish to Rafinha, you can afford Trent. Who's your other keeper? Ben Foster. Would you say fitting both Fernandes and Salah in the same team is vital? I think so. Let me explain why, okay? So you, in 1 second. Again, everyone on my YouTube stream can see this. In game week 1, you'll captain Salah. Game week 2, you'll probably captain Salah, right? Who does Bruno play in game week 2? Yeah, either Salah or Bruno. They play Burnley and Southampton. Game week 3, you won't want to captain Salah, but you will captain Bruno against Wolves, right? After that, you captain Salah, Leeds away, right? Big teams against Leeds always get lots of goals. Game week 5, you'll captain Salah against Palace. Game week 6, Salah against Brentford. Pretty much. So maybe you only really need Bruno for 1 game week when he plays Wolves. But if you look at his opening 6 games, even if you don't captain him, he's playing Leeds, Southampton, Wolves, Newcastle, West Ham and Villa. So I think having both is almost essential. Salah is definitely essential. You could make the case for either De Bruyne or Kane instead of Bruno. I'm considering right now De Bruyne over him because De Bruyne in his opening 6 games plays Tottenham, Norwich, Arsenal, Leicester. Maybe not. I think Chelsea is a tough game. Arsenal's not that tough. City always thrash us. Tottenham without Kane won't be that great either. But maybe not. Yeah, I think Bruno is almost essential. Would you say Mane? I wouldn't go for Mane over Salah because Salah takes penalties and has better underlying numbers. You could make the case for Mane over Bruno as a differential, for sure. Rafinha wasn't that good. Rafinha was really good. Last season, he was very, very strong. Double Liverpool defense, good shout. It's just expensive to double up on. That's the one issue. Emi Martinez versus Watford. FPL isn't about 1 game week. You have to look ahead. So Emi Martinez has really good opening 3 games, right? But he's 5.5 mil. And in game week 4, his fixtures become awful. So he plays Watford, Newcastle, Brentford, which looks great, right? But once you look after that, he plays Chelsea, probably not a clean sheet. Everton, probably not, maybe a clean sheet. United, not a clean sheet. Tottenham, probably not a clean sheet. Wolves, probably a clean sheet. Then Arsenal, probably not a clean sheet. So I wouldn't say go for Emi in because he has really hard fixtures after game week 3. And you don't want to keep transferring your keeper around. You want to keep transferring captains around, right? You want the big hitters to be the ones you're bringing in and out. So for example, Harry Kane, let's look at his fixtures. If he stays at Tottenham, right? Why is it not searching? 1 second. So Kane has tough opening game, and then he's got Wolves, Watford, Palace, which you might want him for, right? I'm not opposed to that. And then Chelsea, and Arsenal, so you might want to transfer him out for that. So his opening, should be good now. His opening fixtures are a bit tough, but then once you get to game week 11, you're going to want to bring Kane in. So you want to have your transfers free for when you want to bring a captain in. So in game week 11, Kane faces Everton, then Leeds, then Burnley, then Brentford, then Norwich, then Brighton. So he has a really good run of games then. So basically you want to keep transferring in attackers when they have a good run of games. Where's Saka? Not in right now. I might bring him in. But Arsenal have a tough opening 3 games. So our opening, Brentford is a good game. But then we play Chelsea and City. Do you think Son could be a good differential? Only if Kane stays. If Kane goes, I wouldn't go for Son. One second, I'm going to go to the bathroom quickly and then I'll come back. 1 second. Alright, let's take a look at some more teams. Fwog, you give up? Nah, don't give up yet, mate. I'll help you out. Come on. Where's Fwog? Let me try helping you. Fwog, you keep spamming, but I don't know what your actual username is on Instagram. So how can I find your name? I'll try finding it. Come on, Fog. I'll try helping you out. Fog, please send your name. Stop saying please and send your actual name. Kieran. Meanwhile, I'll look at your team because you actually sent your name to the chat. Kieran, did you send your team to my new Instagram or my old Instagram? Make sure to send it to my new Instagram, to Fpl_Liam. Because right now I can't find your message. Let's try it. Wait, Kieran, Bath02. I see you, yeah, but I don't see your actual message. Harold Boji. Okay. Harold, I don't see that. Yeah, I don't see your message. Make sure to send it to Fpl_Liam. Okay, Aman W sent it to Fpl_Liam on Instagram. So now I can take a look at his team. Okay, he's got Sanchez, Bachmann, Burn, Trent, Sofal, Shaw, Lamptey, Greenwood, Salah, Buendia, Bruno, Brownhill, Wood, Antonio, Tony. Let's see, what would I change? First of all, it looks very good, I'll say that. Fit in. I'm jealous of him. He's fit in Greenwood. Oh, nah, not jealous. Not that jealous, to be fair. Let's see. I probably wouldn't go for Dan Burn 4.5. I wouldn't triple up on the Brighton defence. I'd go for Fofana over Burn. That's number one. Number two, I would try to free up £500,000 to go for someone better than Chris Wood, to be honest. Maybe go... Oh yeah, so if you downgrade Bachmann to Ben Foster, because I don't think you need Bachmann, then you can upgrade Wood to either Watkins or Iheanacho. That's what I would do. How do you send your teams? You can send it to my Instagram, which is linked to my TikTok profile. Okay, I'm going to take a look at a couple more teams and then I'll log off. So let's say 10 more minutes because I need to eat. Robbo and Sanchez or Trent and Cycling GK? Definitely Robbo and Sanchez, because unless it's your second keeper. If it's your second keeper, then Trent and Cycling GK. Kieran, let's see if your team's there now. I'll check. Kieran, yes, your team is there now. Kieran has Sanchez, Trent, Lamptey, Shaw, Sarr, Salah, Bruno, Grealish, Tony, Calvert-Lewin, Callum Wilson, random keeper, Fofana, Brownhill, Manquillo. Quite similar to mine, he's gone for Sarr instead of Rafinha, and Calvert-Lewin over one of my strikers, and Wilson over one of my strikers. I think it's this very, very strong team. How are Callum Wilson's fixtures looking? Let's have a look. Not bad, not bad. Yeah, very strong team. So yeah, like I said, I would go... What did I say? Oh yeah. I forgot what advice I gave him. No, your team looks strong. Kieran, I see nothing wrong with your team. I think Wilson is a great differential shout. Again, I could say you should go for Iheanacho or Antonio or Watkins over him, but Wilson has great fixtures and he's very clinical. You could go for Rafinha over Sarr and maybe Shaw to Sofal, but honestly, I like the way your team looks. It looks very good. Okay, let's see. Who else needs help with their team? Where's this Harold guy? Let's see if he sent your team. Oh, there we go. I found Harold. Harold, sorry for not finding your team earlier. Harold, I hope you're still here and I can save you. Harold has Schmeichel, Trent, Robertson, Digne, Target, Salah, De Bruyne, Buendia, Sarr, Wilson, Calvert-Lewin, Cycling GK, Stroik, Gilmore. How much is Stroik quickly? Let's have a look. 4.5 mil right away. Ailing over Stroik, first of all. Salah and De Bruyne, I'm not opposed to having De Bruyne over Bruno. After that, maybe downgrade Target, or not downgrade, but swap out Target. How much is Target? 5 mil. Maybe Target to Fofana to upgrade Sarr to Rafinha. But the team looks good. I have nothing against it. It looks very, very good. Should I go with the Leeds keeper? He's a good shout, but Leeds have tough fixtures. So again, if you look, Melier, they've got United and Everton, which I don't see them keeping a clean sheet against. Then Burnley, they could keep a clean sheet. Liverpool, probably not. Newcastle, they could. And then basically after Liverpool, they have a good run of fixtures, so maybe hold off on bringing him in. What's the app called? Fantasy Premier League. Will.Beresford. Let's see if I can find your team. Okay, Will. Let's have a look. He's got Mendy, Trent, Wan-Bissaka, Sofal, Salah, Bruno, Saw, Dallas, Pepe, Watkins, Bamford, Sanchez, Amarty, Manquillo, Davis. Quickly, let's check how much is Amarty. See, 4 or 4.5? 4. But Amarty's not going to be starting realistically. So first of all, you need to upgrade Amarty to Fofana, first of all. Next, you need to upgrade Dallas. So right away, you need to free up money somehow. The way I would do it is downgrade Mendy to cycling GK, Ben Foster, and then start Sanchez instead of him. You don't need 2 keepers, you only need 1. With that money you get from downgrading Mendy, I would go Dallas to Rafinha and Amarty to Fofana. After that, your team looks good. Perfect team. After that, there was, I think, a guy called Hussein who sent his team, and I couldn't find it. Let's have a look now. He's got Sanchez, Trent, Sofal, Lamptey, Shaw, Bruno, Salah, Rafinha, Grealish, Calvert-Lewin, Watkins, Ward, Williams, Chodori, and Welbeck. The team looks good. I'm not sure Welbeck will be nailed on for Brighton, so I think it's 500,000 more to get Mope instead. But even Mope, I'm not sure he's nailed on. So I would try to get 500,000 more to get basically Ivan Toney in for Welbeck, which you could get by going... How much is Ward? Is he 4 mil or 4.5? I think he's 4. Yeah, he's 4. Okay. You could free that up by going either Rafinha to Harrison or Saw, but I wouldn't do that. I'd want to keep Rafinha. Basically, I think you should go for Fofana instead of Sofal and upgrade Welbeck to Toney. Hussein, if you're still here, that's what I would do. Finn Bell, let's have a look. You've been here for a while, haven't you? Finn. There we go. He's got Sanchez, Shaw, Trent, Sofal, Matty Cash, Salah, Grealish, Trossard, Watkins, Calvert-Lewin, Antonio. I like Trossard as a differential. He's got 0.35 expected goal involvements for 19, which is decent, especially considering how good his opening fixtures are. And then Watkins, Calvert-Lewin, Antonio, Steele on the bench, Foden on the bench, Rafinha on the bench, Manquillo. I think you know what I'm going to say. Foden is a risk because he's not nailed on. So basically what you need to do is find a way to upgrade Foden to Bruno, which is going to be hard for you to do because your team structure will have to almost completely change. Yeah, what you'll have to do is basically downgrade. If you don't want to change too much, you have to downgrade basically Grealish to a 4.5 mil midfielder to get Foden up to Bruno. But if you want, you can keep it this way. You don't have to get Bruno. You can ignore me. Your players are good one by one. It's just that you're missing Bruno, who's going to have either close to 100% or over 100% effective ownership every week. So if I look Cresswell, forgetting Price. Forgetting Price, definitely Cresswell. But Price matters, doesn't it? Okay, I'm going to look at 2 more teams from the YouTube chat, and then I'm going to go because I need to sleep. I'm very tired. Cal.Slee. I can't find your team, Cal.Slee. Let me try going further back. Wait. There we go. Cal.Slee. You've been here for an hour. Thank you, mate. I appreciate it. Let's have a look. He's got Emi Martinez, Robertson, Sofal, Cresswell, Fofana, Shaw, Grealish, Salah, Jota, Watkins, Bamford, Sanchez, Rafinha, Bissouma, Calvert-Lewin. First of all, this team is very good. Basically, by not going for Bruno, he's got a really strong bench and a really strong defense, right? So he can afford Robertson, Cresswell, and Shaw for his defense. And then he can afford a bench of Rafinha and Calvert-Lewin, which is impressive. But I think you're going to be missing out by not having Bruno. So I still think you should downgrade one of your strikers to a cheaper striker, like Mope or Tony. And then you have to downgrade one of your defenders to a 4.5 mil defender. For a 4 mil defender, then downgrade Sanchez or Martinez to a 4 million goalkeeper, which would then let you upgrade one of your midfielders to Bruno. I would probably upgrade Jota to Bruno because I think Jota is not nailed enough to warrant his price tag. If, let's say, Mane or Firmino get injured right before the season starts, then you can go for Jota. But right now, you have 4 attacking players on 3 attacking places, which means anyone but Salah is not really worth having. Ben White, I might bring him in, yes. I might bring him in. Let's see, Aaron Williams. Last team that I look at. He's got Sanchez, Shaw, Sofa, Lamptey, Trent, Gilmore, Salah, Bruno, Sarr, Tony, Kane, Steele, Fofana, Harrison, Davis. How is he affording... What? Something's wrong somewhere. He can afford Kane, Bruno, Salah, and Trent. That's very impressive. Oh, yeah. Basically, what Aaron has done, which is quite clever, is he's committed to playing 4 at the back, right? Because if he plays 3 at the back, so either 3-4-3 or 3-5-2, he has to play one of either Gilmore or Davis, basically, right? So by going 4 at the back instead of 3 at the back, he can afford an extra premium player, but he's missing he's basically missing a striker where everyone else would have a striker. So he has to play Lamptey or Sofal, where most people would play Antonio or Watkins, which I'm not saying it's the wrong idea. This team is insane. Let's say he had a starting 11 of Sanchez, Shaw, Lamptey, Trent, Harrison, Salah, Bruno, Sarr, Tony, Kane. That's probably going to do better than my starting 11. Probably. Who knows? But so your team is very good. I wouldn't change anything about it. You can consider going for Emil Smith-Rowe if you want to then upgrade Tony, but Harrison and Sarr should do the job for you. Your team is very strong. Sorry guys, I'm not going to look at any more teams. I'm tired, but I'll go live either tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. I'll go live again, and I promise I'll get to all my followers or all my viewers. I'll get to all of your teams before the season starts. I promise. If next time you say in the YouTube chat I was in yesterday's stream and you didn't look at my team, I promise I'll look at your team. I promise. I just don't have unlimited energy and patience. Like I can't. I want to give all of you quality feedback on your teams. Tony and Trent or Robbo and Wilson. I'd say tough one. Probably Robbo and Wilson, to be honest. Maybe. Yeah. But you need another $500,000, right? Between Tony and... it's tough. Nah, probably Tony and Trent. Are you still on helmet? What does that mean? I'm not sure. Oh, I think helmet is I think it's a derogatory term, right? Is helmet a bad thing? I think it's a bad thing. Helmet definition. Urban Dictionary. Slang. Oh, okay. Yes, it's definitely a bad thing. Are you still on holiday? Yes, I'm still on holiday. Oh, didn't mean to say helmet. No worries, mate. Good mid for 7.5 or under. Jota, Greenwood, Rafinha, Saka, all good. Cheers for the feedback. I'm tempted by Ben White. What I will say about Ben White is if you want to bring him in game week 4. So start off with either Lamptey or Fofana, and then bring Ben White in game week 4. Best 6 moment fielders: Saar, Harrison, and Smith Rowe, in my opinion. Also, guys, by the way, if you DM me your teams on Instagram, in my free time, like in a couple hours or at night when I'm bored, I go through my DMs and give random people feedback on their teams. So I'll try to do that for you as well. Please say you put Tony up front. Yeah, I've got Antonio, Watkins, and Tony. I'm still considering going for either Greenwood or Jota over Grealish to get Calvert-Lewin in, because I think he'll be very good. What time will you be going live at, Liam? Let's say tomorrow at... What time's good for you guys? Let's say 4 p.m. 4 p.m.? Yeah, let's say 4 p.m. UK time tomorrow. I'll go live. But sometimes I'll just go live randomly. Say a word so you know we were here from last stream. Okay, I'll say a word for you guys. Let's say... what's a good word? Phone case. Okay, if you say phone case in the chat, on the YouTube chat, tomorrow in the stream, I'll make sure to look at your team. But also, let's see. Matthew and Harry D, send me your ats on Instagram again. I'll write them down. Okay, Harry J. Dalton. Wait, one sec. Oh, no, it's not going to help me. Don't worry. I promise I'll find your team. I promise. Don't worry. Phone case. Okay, that will be the we have to say tomorrow in the stream. Okay. See you, everyone. I'll stream again tomorrow at 4 p.m. UK time to look at all of your teams. I promise I'll get to everyone. I promise. So don't worry if I missed you. Matthew Cunningham. Let me find your team name. One sec. Okay, Matthew and Harry and everyone in my YouTube chat, I promise I'll get to your teams tomorrow. I promise. Okay. Okay. See you, everyone. Bye. Enjoy your days. Enjoy your weekend.